every UFC fan knows this fucking gummy bear. And in today's video, we're going to switch it up. So I've been switching up the content quite a bit lately. So I'm just going to keep it no Matchmaker Monday yesterday because I just wanted to talk about the Ray Jackson situation. But so this fucking gummy bear, I'm going to be talking about the three worst UFC fans kind of like that we encounter, that I see in my comments, that I see on my TikTok, that I see in comment sections, period. The three worst fans. And I mentioned one yesterday, so we'll start there. The worst fan I possibly think is the one that says, "Oh, well, you wouldn't say it to his face, man." Literally, is the worst UFC fan I think I know is the one that says, "Oh, well, you wouldn't say it to his face, man. Yeah, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. That's why you're a YouTuber." I think that is the most fucking stupid MMA fan. I think that is the most stupid MMA fan. It has to be. It has to be, and here's why. The whole sentiment and the whole argument around, "Oh, well, you wouldn't say it to his face," is fucking retarded. If I said someone had a shit performance in a fight, I'm going to say to them, "What's the big problem here?" I don't get it. I'm gonna get into it. What's the big problem with me saying, "Oh, this guy had a shit performance," or "this guy did that wrong," or "this guy said that wrong," or "I don't like this guy"? Oh, well, you wouldn't say it to his face, man. You wouldn't say to his face that he got knocked the fuck out. It's a fact. If a fighter got knocked the fuck out, it's a fact. And if I sit here and say I think a fighter is going to get knocked out, that's my opinion. So don't come at me with this fucking bullshit of, "Oh, you wouldn't say it to his face," or "Oh, well, they'd smack the shit out of you." That's another one that fucking pisses me off as well, actually. "Oh, you wouldn't, they'd smack the shit out of you." Thank God they would. Holy fuck. You figured it out there, mate. Jesus. Thank God they would. A fucking trained fighter, literally, a trained fighter would beat me up. Can anybody believe that? A literal diehard UFC fan, because I don't think you understand, like, this sport, it's the only thing I follow. Thank God that, oh fuck, Tom Aspinall or fucking Dustin Poirier, I nearly fucking sent that flying, that Dustin Poirier and Islam Makhachev and fucking Big Tom over here would beat me in a fight. Thank fucking God that is the case. Because if they didn't, I'd be extremely worried about the skill level in their sport. Yes, I've trained for a few years, but do you think I'm UFC level? No. Have I ever claimed to be UFC level? No. People get their fucking titties in such a twist for me having an opinion on a fighter. I just don't get it. And then you call it casual. If you don't have the same opinion as fucking anybody, okay, you're a fucking casual. What? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I remember when I picked him. Oh, you know where this is going? To knock out Benoit Saint Denis when everybody else was picking him. The amount of comments. I got like nearly 300 comments on that video. "I'm a casual. I don't know what I'm talking about. Beastie's going to chin him." Yada, 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 yada. And then look what happened. I got that right. I got it right. So fuck off. But I don't understand this thing of you wouldn't say it to his face, or, "Oh, they'd beat you up." Like, that's so fucking stupid, man. Like, that's fucking retarded, to be honest with you. Oh, what? You think you flexing that a UFC fighter would be? I'm pretty fucking, I'm pretty fucking hench. I can hold my own here. I've been going to the gym a few years. Come on. I'm going the fucking mics in the way. Pretty fucking hench, but as regards an MMA fight, every single UFC fighter would fucking maul me. Maul me. Bro, I love talking about the sport. I don't want to be a UFC fighter. I'd never claimed to want to be a UFC fighter. But I think they're one of the worst UFC fans, if not the worst. I think those people as well, they're just a fucking fat Dorito cheese fingers kind of guys that you sit behind the keyboard and just kind of say all this shit that you wouldn't say to his face and things like that. They're John Jones fans. They're John Jones fans. Okay, that's the best way to describe those kind of guys. They love John Jones. They hate any bit of criticism to any sort of fighter on the planet. You can't say one bad thing because they're the fighter. Now, there is a case of just like straight hating on a fighter. That is the thing, okay? Because I give criticism. I say what I think. I don't care. I couldn't give a fuck about comments. I love reading comments, but if there's bad comments, I do not give a shit. But like, me having an opinion that someone might get knocked out, or me not liking a fighter's personality, because they're fucking dry or they're cringe or they're boring or I just don't like what they say or don't like Sean Strickland is a perfect example of this actually. Sean Strickland is just like the kid in the class that's always causing trouble. But as soon as someone says something like, shut up, man, what are you doing? He starts fucking crying. He just starts crying. Okay? As soon as someone says something to him, he just starts crying. He's like one of those fucking TikTok girls that's having like a midlife crisis and is just posting herself crying on TikTok. You know those people that they post on TikTok saying like oh, when you're smiling, but then the next video is them crying. That's exactly who Sean Strickland is. I don't like Sean Strickland. I don't like what he stands for. I don't like what he says. I think he's an absolute fucking degenerate. Yes, Sean Strickland has an done and accomplished incredible things. He's a UFC fucking champion. Like that is an extremely hard thing to fucking do. So he's done great things, and he's been a top middleweight for years. That does not mean I have to like him as a person. That does not mean I have to like what he says. That does not mean I have to support him. Do I, take inspiration from the fact he's accomplished the dream? Absolutely. Absolutely I do. But that doesn't mean I have to like who he is. I take as much inspiration and I take positives from his situation because he has had some stuff happen, which is sad. But to just go at people when they back at you and you cry and you call Drickus Duplessis a faggot. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense. You can say everything you want, but then, as soon as someone else says something, it makes no sense. It makes no sense, but the second worst MMA fan, and this one is arguably the worst, actually, now that I think about it. The wannabe hardcore. The wannabe hardcore. Now, by what I mean is by the wannabe hardcore, the guy who thinks the Bellator champion can beat the UFC champion. That's what I mean by the wannabe hardcore. They're the worst UFC fans. They're the biggest casuals. They have fucking no idea what they're watching. They have no idea what they're watching. They parade around and just chat a bunch of shit. They act like they know what they're doing. Oh, I think this guy's slick right hand would give, this guy a problem and he's not even in the UFC. I would love to see that fight. Bullshit. If they ever say that a Bellator champion can beat UFC champion, they're fucking lying. They're fucking lying. Like Johnny Eblen. I've seen Johnny Eblen fight live. Pretty decent fighter. He just lost. Patchy Mix. The Weasel picked him to beat Sean O'Malley at one stage. And I made a whole video on that years ago saying that's complete bullshit. I've seen Patchy Mix enough to know that is complete fucking horseshit. But anyone that picks like a ONE FC champion, a PFL champion, a Bellator champion, whatever organization you want to pick that isn't the UFC, and you sit here and you look me dead in the eye, you look at me in the eye, yeah, and you sit there and say, I actually think this guy would beat the UFC champion, you're fucking retarded. Now, a lot of people might, oh, well, this guy, fuck off, actually. I'm not even going to entertain it. No, it's not happening. They don't beat them. Michael Venom Page is probably the exception, because he's in the fucking worst weight class in the UFC. With, you know what I mean? Middleweight is fucking wank. And I know he's moving back down, but still, MVP lost to Ian Gary, who lost to Shavkat Rakhmonov, and then paraded around like he won. Yeah, which makes no sense. That whole Ian Gary. I might make a TikTok on that tonight, actually, but the whole fucking thing of Bellator champions would beat UFC champions. If you ever come across a YouTuber you think you might like and they say that, just please don't do yourself the favor and don't fucking listen to that. Don't listen to that shit. Okay, they might get like a win in the UFC. If they say, oh, I think they can get to a certain level, that's one thing. Like sitting there saying, I don't know who fucking Fabian Edwards just won a PFL title like a few days ago. If you sit here and say, you know what, Fabian Edwards might get like a win in the top 15, with a bit of improvement, he might scrape a top 10, but he's never getting to a belt. Then I can look at you and say, I actually think you know what you're talking about. But if you sit there and say, oh, I think this champion beats this champion, back in the day when John Eblen was fighting, could have fought Sean Strickland, that's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. He would have never beaten Drickus. He would have never beaten Strickland. He would have never beaten fucking anybody. Okay? Absolutely nobody would have beaten. And I just think that's the most casual thing you can say, in my opinion. If that's how I know you're trying to be a hardcore, but you're just a fucking casual. Because you don't even watch Bellator. You don't know how low level that is. You just don't. It's such a fact. It's such a fact, okay? But last but not least, one of the third worst MMA fan. is you're a casual, dude. I know I've said the word casual quite a few times, but I'm gonna break down the way people say it, okay? You know when people say Marab, Ankalaev, things like that. Now this is going to be controversial, so you got to let me finish what I say here. I don't have to like Marab Davachi's style. I think the Sean O'Malley fight was fucking boring. I think the Peter Yan fight was a fucking disgrace. I think the Jose Aldo fight was fucking boring. It was a fucking disgrace. And people love Marab. I get called a casual for not liking Marab's style. Ankalaev at least tries to finish people and tries to hurt people on the feet. But most of the time he's holding up against the cage. Now, Hamzat Shemaev. A lot of people are saying he did the exact same thing. I disagree. I completely disagree because at least there was moments where Hamzat had that you know, the fucking hold him up against the cage and stuff like that. But he got him in a shitload of crucifixes. And the reason he couldn't really position is because Dricus had his head completely tucked in. Dricus was trying to survive. At least Hamzat tried to get the back. Do you know what I mean? So there was definitely things there. He wasn't just holding him up against the cage like Marab did against fucking Aldo and then snitching on his retirement. Am I the only MMA fan that remembers that? I never hear anyone bring that up. Ever. I never hear it, bro. Or Mario Batista. Oh, well, this is a technical masterclass here from Batista. No! No, bro. It's fucking boring. That's what it fucking is. I hate those fans. I hate those fans that like you're such a fucking casual if you don't like, oh, control grappling. Demetrius Johnson said it. And listen, that is probably top three GOAT of mine. I fucking love Demetrius Johnson. Like, honestly, I fucking love DJ as a personality. His YouTube channel is sick. His interviews, everything about DJ, I fuck with. Robert Whittaker said it best. He said the same thing. You'll be a casual if you don't like that for. And I'm just like, no, see, the thing is, I no, actually. Like if you're holding someone up against the cage, that's all you do, and you just land like knees to the thigh. That's all you're doing. I don't respect that. That's no, and I know exactly what I'm watching. I've been watching this shit long enough. Okay, just because I'm a fucking small YouTuber doesn't mean I don't watch MMA and don't know. Doesn't mean I don't have good taste and shit like that. You know, it's bullshit. These fucking fans are just—it's ridiculous. Okay, the fact that Islam Makhachev is the exception to so many of these fighters makes Islam Makhachev a top three favorite fighter of all time for me. He makes him a top three favorite fighter of all time for me. He has to. Alex Pereira, Tom Aspinall. These are guys I love seeing. Pantoja. I'm probably the biggest Pantoja fan on this fucking platform. Honestly, I am. I've campaigned for that fucking guy. Um, but I think they're such a fucking casual. I think if you're literally just saying, "Oh well, if you don't like this fight style, you're a casual," no, no, bro, it's boring. I want to see you throw hands. I want to see you show this and that. And I let Hamzat away with one because he gave us so many entertaining fights, and I've seen the way he fought his whole career. That's not how he's won the belt. That's not how he got to the belt. That's kind of why I was annoyed because loads of people just kind of shit on Hamzat straight away, and they were like, "Oh, they kind of assumed that's how he fought his whole career, and he just did it again." No, that was the first time he's ever done that. So that's why I was like, are you all forgetting this? Are you all forgetting this? All the finishes, all the wars, the Kevin Holland demolishment, the Gilbert Burns war, the Hamzat first round. Like, you're just completely forgetting all this? The Robert Whittaker submission. It's not like he did that his whole career. That was literally the first time he's ever done that in his whole career. John Phillips is another one. That guy from Wales. Gerald Mersher. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. That's what pissed me off about the Hamzat, but the guys that, sit there and say, "Oh, you're a casual if you don't like, control grappling." There is control grappling. Like Arman Strukin versus Mateusz Gamrot. It's just a fucking banging fight to watch. I love watching that. The scrambles, even in Volkanovski versus Makhachev, were unbelievable. The way Volk was able to get back up, insane. The scrambles in Makhachev versus Sarukian 1 was incredible. Okay, these are fights I love rewatching. I'm telling you now, just watch Gamrot versus Arman Sarukian, and you will be a fan of wrestling. You will be a fan of wrestling, bro. It's insane some of the scrambles and that shit, but I think they're the worst UFC fans ever. I really do. Agree, disagree, whatever you want to do. It's just my opinion, and I'm sick of so many of these UFC fans. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but like, this is what I think. Let me know what you think down below, and thanks for watching.